Hello, Jasmine. Come on in. Come on in. I'm excited about tonight's topic. Come on in. I'm going to get this shared out. And I'm asking you to do the same. Hey, girl. About to drop some information that I typically would not put. I'm asking you to do the out there. So go ahead. For those of you joining, go ahead and share this live out with at least 3 people. Somebody needs this information before we go make a couple $1,000 mistake based off of what it looks like everyone else is doing or how it looks like everyone else is benefiting that they may not benefit. So come on in, share this live out with 3 of your friends. We're going to talk about S corporations. I'm going to give out some gems that I typically, like I said, usually don't give out. Some nuggets from my ebook that I wrote. Some deets on these S corporations. Is it all that it's cracked up to be? Come on in. I'm going to give it a few minutes here for a few more people to come in the room. And we are going to get started. Want to make sure people are making sound decisions and using good judgment when you're setting up your businesses. I know a lot of people are hopping into business right now and you're making moves based on what people are telling you that sounds good, but it may not make sense for your situation. So come on in. Come on in the room. I was excited to go live today. I don't know why. I was really, really excited. Probably because of this topic. I like getting into the grits and the grains of, I'm the person that will tell you what other people be scared to say. I don't mind telling my client, look, you overpaid this year, but let's set it up so you don't have that same situation again next year. You know, a lot of times we have preparers and accountants who actually will pull out all stops for you to get a refund. That's not the direction that we want to go here at Bryant Business Solutions. We want you to make that money, legally avoid taxes, and still be able to get your $1 million homes that you want, your nice vehicle that you want, qualify for whatever you want to qualify for, that you would need that your credit, to show that, but you also need the income to show it as well. All right, so I am going to go ahead and get started. For those of you who do not know me, I am Tawana with Bryant Business Solutions, a 100% virtual tax and accounting firm based out of Columbia, South Carolina. And this is also a part of my 30 Days Live series, where I'm going live for every day in the month of June. We are on day 22. I think I missed one day, and that was Saturday because it just kind of flew by. And I don't know what, I was just worn out helping my daughter move and some other things. So let's talk about these S corporations. It was somebody I don't know how to do the tag thing. Because somebody I knew specifically needed this. I don't know how to, maybe this is it. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to, I forgot. I meant to share this with someone specifically. All right. So we're good to go. All right. So let's get started. first I wanted to explain what an S corporation is. So when you register your business with the Secretary of State, you're registering for articles of organization. Okay, so there's two different things that you're registering for. You will be registering when you initially submit your paperwork for articles of organization. Typically, in most states, that's what it's identified as. All right, so when you register for that articles of our organization, you will then elect with the IRS when you apply for your EIN, employer identification number. You will elect whether you want to be taxed as an individual or regular partnership, or as an S corporation or C corporation. But as an S corporation, as an S corporation. So one of the main ways and one of the most thought of strategies, or the quickest strategies people find to help business owners save money, is by forming what's called an S corporation. You now either elect in the beginning of your business, or you go back and elect using the 2553 form from the IRS. You change your status to be taxed as an S corporation. So let's talk about what an S corporation is first. So under the United States Federal Income Tax Code, it's a closely held corporation, or in some cases, it is an LLC or a partnership that makes a valid election to be taxed under what's known as Subchapter S. And that Subchapter S is actually Chapter 1 of the Internal Revenue Code. So in general, S-Corps do not pay any income taxes, okay? The S-Corp itself does not pay any income taxes. Instead, the corporation's income and losses are both divided amongst all of the shareholders, and it's passed through. So it's a pass-through entity structure, okay? And then these shareholders have to report that income or loss on each person's individual tax return. So we got that, right? So we understand now that an S Corp is a type of entity that is elected. Where a common misconception comes in at is that an LLC is an election, and it is. However, you can have with that your S corporation status, because that's how you choose to be taxed. But what a lot of people forget or do not realize is an LLC is a disregarded entity at the federal level. They don't recognize an LLC. It is only recognized at the state level, which is why you're registering with the state, okay? So you're not registering that necessarily with the federal, although that's how you list it when you have your election status, and it says, what's your business name, so-and-so and so, LLC. All right, as we have, let me go this direction, down, over here. Ha. And oh, you can't see me. I'm sorry, Jazz. I was showing them the LLC on here. All right. So when you elect that S Corp status, you then pass those incomes, losses, credits, deductions, everything through to each of the shareholders. And opposed to paying federal income taxes, the shareholders, again, report these incomes and losses or income or losses, on their personal tax return, and assessed at each individual's income tax rates. So why is it that so many people are saying, oh, well, get an S corporation or change your status to an S Corp because it's going to make more sense for your business for A, B, and C? The number one thing people will say is it'll help you save money on taxes. You won't have to pay the 15.3% of self-employment tax if you're taxed as an S Corp. And that's true. Okay. It kind of gets you out of having to pay that 15.3%. But it may not be the most beneficial thing for your business and where you're at in business. It may not make sense for you to be elected as an S Corp status. And Just because you gross multiple six figures, whatever the case may be, you may not need to be entertaining an SCorp. Why do I say that? For a couple of different reasons, but one of the reasons is you may end up paying more taxes or paying out more, not necessarily more taxes, but you may end up paying out more money by electing an SCorp status. All right, so think about it. As an SCorp, one of the requirements is, okay, there's two main things that's required. One is you have to now set yourself up on payroll. Who's running that payroll? Are you running the payroll? Are you paying a payroll company to run that payroll? How much are you paying them? Is it more than what you would have paid in your self-employment taxes? Okay, so you set yourself up on payroll, and then you have to pay yourself a reasonable salary for your industry. It has to make sense. You can't just say, oh, I'm going to elect an SCorp. I'm going to pay myself $5,000 a year, and I'm good. I'm Gucci. No, that's not the case. That's not how it works. You're supposed to pay yourself a reasonable salary. And one thing that I see that happens is people hop into an SCorp, or they listen to people say, oh, all you need to do is change your status to an SCorp, but they don't understand the administrative side of it and the other responsibilities that come along with it. The other thing is, can you afford to pay for an SCorp tax return and a regular tax return? Because you need both. Now you need both because you're an SCorp. Are you keeping up with your records to make it make sense also? Okay, so SCorp tax returns, I know here start at around $1,000 for a return. And a lot of times I find that people will say, oh, well, I didn't do that much in my business. A return is a return is a return. I still have to do the work. And assuming that you didn't do that much in your business changes the rate of what we charge as tax and accounting professionals. It typically is not the case. Our rates may be based may be based on the forms that we're filing. It may be based on the amount of research or work that has to be done with that. It may have to do with, like, I know, for example, for Schedule C returns, it's a lot of back and forth because a lot of times people don't have their things in order. Or if we see opportunities for additional savings, we then kind of go back and forth with you to say, hey, let's look at this or let's look at this. But the price of an SCorp return is not necessarily based on how much business you may do. Okay. So that's one of the things. And another thing is, if a business has an extensive working capital needs, like you don't have enough money to really run your type of business, an SCorp status is typically not the best choice at that time. Okay. Because that on paper profit of what you're telling those people that you made, again, those multi six figures, is going to be passed through and taxed to each of the shareholders. And if you're the only shareholder, now you're still responsible for those taxes. It's just taxed a different way. This can actually affect your cash flow negatively, especially for those companies that are growing. You're in a growth mode. It can actually substantially hurt you and hurt your cash flow. And I know for growing companies, you don't, that's not what you're looking to do. Of course, you're looking to maximize your dollars. So what I typically recommend is don't even entertain an SCorp status. And different people, I've heard different things. I say until you are netting $30,000 to $40,000. Then you want to start entertaining it. However, you entertain it via a tax plan, not just, oh, do you think I should change my status now because this is how much money I'm bringing home and this is how much I'm profiting after my expenses. It's not that simple. There's things that has to be assessed as to whether that status makes sense based on where you're at and where you're going in business. And an actual tax plan has to be done to evaluate those situations. It's not just oh yeah, this is your situation, just change. It's not the case. It's not the case at all. So we do look at and do a comparative report to see what makes the most sense. So here's another case. If you're a business owner and you already pay the maximum in Social Security tax on your regular W-2 day job, the tax savings associated with the SCorp pretty much is non-existent. It defeats the purpose. So here's the thing that's in place. The QBI deduction usually is on the entire net profit of a business. And that's in place at least right now until 2025. I know the Biden administration is wanting to do some things with that and wanting to make some changes with that, but there's savings there. So the QBI, like I said, deduction is on the entire net profit rather than just the K1 portion from an SCorp return. So like a partnership, the SCorps you get issued a K1. And that's what is filed on your regular tax return. So many higher income W-2 clients have side businesses right now. Again, it may not make sense for you to become an SCorp because this is your side hustle. Yeah, your side hustle may be making money, but the benefit may not be there for how an SCorp or the purpose, the deemed purpose, or how an SCorp is structured. Okay. My real estate professionals, if you're holding real estate in an SCorp, that can be a costly mistake for you in the long term. That may not be beneficial for you, my real estate professionals. And the thing is, it's not that I like delivering bad news. I like to keep it real. I like to be 100% transparent with people. I like to give you the facts. I don't want to just give you the fluff, the good stuff, how good it sounds, and do an SCorp because X, Y, and Z looks good and it makes it look better here, and you could do this with it and you could do that with it. No, you got to do what makes sense. Like I've said over and over again, we get shiny object syndrome, in the words of my accountability partner. Later, for that shiny object syndrome, you got to do what benefits you and what benefits your business. If you know you're not going to do the administrative task, if you know you're not going to do those things to sustain your SCorp, don't even go there, because the IRS will tax you. They will tax you on that. And I've seen it happen. I've seen where people don't put themselves on payroll. And this is why, because the IRS is actually behind right now. So those people that are now saying, I want to become a nonprofit, I want to become an SCorp, a C Corp, whatever the case is, those businesses, they're behind. I have some clients I did a consultation for. They applied for their SCorp status back last February 2020. It got approved about 2 months ago. However, the IRS retroed it back to January 1, 2020. So what they're telling us is, go ahead. It's easier to pull them out of being, if they don't get approved, it's easier to pull someone out of filing W-2 income for themselves or setting themselves up on payroll than it is for them to go back and now try to pay themselves that way, because you can't. You're going to have to issue yourself a 1099. And you don't want to have to go through that whole payroll thing and trying to figure it out. So you want to go ahead and get started when you submit the election, because again, we know that the IRS is behind. And that's, on their recommendation that you go ahead and operate in such state. But again, it may not be beneficial. All right. So some more potential disadvantages of being an SCorp. Again, the formation, ongoing expenses that come with that. When you decide to become an SCorp, now you have to incorporate your business. Again, by now you're filing what's called articles of incorporation with your desired state of incorporation, if that's how you're starting out. Get a registered agent for your company if you're not going to be the registered agent. and then pay the appropriate fees for that state to form a corporation in that state. Now, many states also impose ongoing fees. I know in the state of California, just to have an LLC, every year you pay an automatic $800. Just to have an LLC, they ain't ask you if you made money, if you didn't do that much business or what. They're not asking those questions. So these are things that you want to think about as you become business owners. We got to get beyond the glitz and glam and the luxury of what the benefits are of being an entrepreneur or being a business owner, and start looking at this black and white and the cold hard facts about what it is to become a business owner. You may have franchise tax fees that apply. And a lot of these fees aren't expensive, but they can, and they also are written off at the end of tax season, but they're the same expenses that comes to a sole proprietor or a general partnership. All right. Again, the tax qualification obligation. When you make mistakes with an SCorp, you're running some risk potential there. Now, I will say a benefit is an SCorp is not taxed as much as a Schedule C return. Okay. So a lot of the mistakes, though, when you elect the SCorp status, consent notification, stock ownership, filing requirements, it's so much that goes into that. It can accidentally result in the termination of your SCorp status, and now you don't even have the option of the benefit because you didn't know what you were responsible for doing from the beginning. And the other thing is, a lot of people go at this alone. You go at it alone, or you go to the wrong counsel to get the information you need to operate an SCorp. We got to start using better judgment, guys. Just because somebody is able to maybe set their own up, or they did it once, or they know somebody who did it, or they've become the social media expert because of popularity, it does not make them knowledgeable in these areas. And we really have to get beyond the lifestyle that everyone appears to be living, or how everyone seems to be doing it the right way. Keep in mind the calendar year for an SCorp, it has to adopt the calendar year as its tax year, unless it can establish a business purpose for not doing so. So you can't pick a fiscal year when you're an SCorp. There's stock ownership restrictions. You can only have up to 100 stockholders, which is your investors, those people who are going to help invest in your business. And that's a lot of times when people are starting out, they don't look for more than 100, but depending on what your product or service is, you may be looking for more than 100 investors. You may be looking for other opportunities for people to invest in your business. There's not as much flexibility in allocating the income and losses. It is what it is. You know? I'm, going along the way. Does anybody have any questions about what I'm talking about? Does anyone not get it? There's cases also where a C corporation may be better suited for your business versus an S corporation, but you won't know that unless you tax plan. Don't let people just say, oh, well, a C corp runs the risk of being double taxed. But what if that's not the case for you and you can get a greater tax advantage by being a C corporation? Let's run our business as our business. And this is where a business plan also actually would come into play and benefit you as a business owner, because if these things are well thought out in advance, they're recorded in your business plan. Now you have something viable. You have a template. You have a milestone marker to say, when I reach here, when I reach there, when I reach this time limit, status, and when I reach this income status, this is when I become an S corp. This is when I become a C corp. This is when I start evaluating whether I should be an S corp or a C corp. Okay. Like I said, I love to talk about the advantages of stuff. I love to talk about saving money. I love to talk about ways and loopholes that we can find to help benefit you. But I also want to keep it 100% real with each and every one of you to say it may not be the situation that you need to be in with your business or at this time. Not saying that you can never get there. Make that a milestone, make that a goal. But don't hop into it because I'm in these forums where I'll see people, they'll say, somebody will ask a question, they'll say, oh, well, what type of business structure should I have? Is that really where you want to be getting your advice from? Or a seasoned professional? So I do have more details about this information in my ebook with that reviews over each of the business entity types, the advantages, the disadvantages, the drawbacks, those things that you need to, the atomic bombs, those things that you need to be aware of in every single industry, or not industry, Lord, in every single entity type. And you can grab a copy of that. I don't know if I still have it marked down or not. I need to check. I'll drop the link for that as well in this in the description of the live. If you want to look at it a little bit closer in a little more detail, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're automatically going to be able to figure out which one is for you, but you'll get better clarity, better understanding so that you can make wise decisions in your business. And that's what I really want people to get back to, making a wise decision in your business so that you're not either backpedaling or now owing the IRS extra money because you didn't do something that you should have done, that you weren't aware that you should have done because you just didn't know. Or you went to the wrong counsel. I'm gonna talk about this again in the future soon. The different types of professionals. Again, CPAs may not practice taxes. Some tax professionals may not do accounting. I just happen to do both. We got to know who we're hiring as a part of our team. We got to know who we're putting on our team. Are they going to tell you the good, bad, and the ugly? Are they confident in telling you that? Are they confident in saying, I don't know, let me get this answer for you here, let me do some more digging because your situation may be different and I need to dig a little deeper based on what you want to do or how you want to do it. Make sure you're adding the right people to your team. Are they willing to answer those questions for you, or are they willing to give you fluff? And y'all probably see my eyes shifting back and forth. I promise y'all I don't have shifty eyes. I'm looking between the two platforms or multiple platforms here. So I just wanted to get in some meat about the SCorp statuses tonight. Again, I don't do a whole lot of small talk. That's just not who I am. I gotta guess it's a skill I need to learn. Maybe. I guess because I can't tolerate a lot of fluff. So I don't do a lot of fluff. I normally just give it to you. Here it is. A, B, C, D. Bam. What questions do you have? No? Y'all feel like y'all in school getting lectured? Y'all, my accountability partners told me that. They was like, yeah, you be cracking them whips on us. Sorry. They said, but we remember everything you tell us. We don't forget. And when we have a question, we know what to look for before we come back to you. I just want to make sure everybody gets it. I don't like seeing the situations where people owe the IRS thousands of dollars because they just didn't know, or because they listened to someone that they shouldn't have, or because it looked good, or it seemed like because this person is successful in this area, they got to know the answer. Because we all don't know everything about everything. There are some of us that are diversified that do know about different things, but you got to think now. I've been in corporate America since telling my age here, since the 90s. I've been doing taxes since 2006, 7. I've been a business owner since 2012. And even then I didn't get it all right. There's a lot I did wrong. And the benefit though of being a business owner in the area, in the industry that I'm in, is we get to see a lot of things happen to a lot of different people. We get to see the horror stories. We get to go through the trenches with them to fix it when we don't know, to work through those new situations and those new problems with them. So this is why, I have the level to some degree of expertise that I do. Not every situation was a great situation to go through, but now I can educate others as a result of it. So I'm grateful for that. All right. Well, 7:30, we are going to wrap up Tax Talk Tuesday. I will be back tomorrow for day 23 of 30 Days Live for the month of June. I do not have a topic as of yet, but if there's a specific topic that you want to, I wish I had listened, or just some questions, and it would have saved me a lot of money and setbacks. I will be listening to the replays again and again. Yeah, and the thing is, Sharon, a lot of times we just don't know until we make the mistakes sometimes. Everybody can't, because our experience is everybody's experience is going to be different. And some people, we can tell you some things to help you avoid some pitfalls. But what if something happens to you that hadn't happened to anybody else that you deal with? Now you become the lesson. So the benefit of that is being able to now take that lesson and share your story with somebody else as you produce your entrepreneurial story and grow in your business. There's some mistakes, again, that it's kind of unavoidable, unless someone else has already experienced that or they know how to direct you in that area. A lot of times people don't even know, because I've had clients that have gotten professional assistance. They just went to the wrong person. And that person didn't know what they thought, when they hired them, they thought they knew. The person just didn't know. I've encountered some CPAs that say, I take my taxes to somebody. I don't do no taxes. That ain't my area. I'm in governmental accounting. This is what I do. This is what I'm sticking to. And I appreciate those people that are completely honest about that. I know typically, I could probably do a tax return for truck drivers, but I know that my accountability partner is a beast when it comes to truckers' taxes. Where am I going to send them? I'm not going to try to do them, or either if I take them on as a client, I'm going to have her right by my side working with me on it so I can learn a thing or two, but I know that's not my area of expertise. And so that's when I would either incorporate a team to do that. I know I don't do e-commerce taxes. I don't want to deal with sales tax. I'm just keep it completely honest. I don't want to deal with sales tax. However, one of my preparers, she's a sales tax beast. So even if you don't have all the answers, put the right people in your corner, partner up with the right people so that you can get everything get what you need by surrounding yourself with those people that have those experiences. One thing I know, which you, Sharon, as well as me, being a homebody, and I think, Jasmine, you seem to be pretty much a homebody too. One of those things is really putting ourselves out there to have the small talk conversations, to have those conversations. Outside has opened back up now. Now I'm still not outside like that, but outside has opened back up. But there's still opportunities to network with people in Clubhouse, social media, Zoom. Listen, I stay at the house too. And I know people be sick of this same background, but I know I'm a little higher risk when it comes to COVID, and the COVID is not gone. And I experienced some symptoms back in December, I believe it was. And even when the outbreak first happened, I think my house had gotten a taste of it. I don't wish that feeling on nobody. So I stay in the house. And even when outside was open before, I wasn't an outside person. Or if I go somewhere, I'm normally ducked off in the corner. I'm sitting, just listening, observing. So I am going to increase my chit chat game a little bit. just to be social, to be able to network with others. Yeah, you're right. It never hurts to ask questions. It never hurts. And actually, it's beneficial when you're adding people on your team. And what I recommend, especially, just because I know, what you have going on, what I honestly recommend is even y'all Google got a lot of answers now. I don't have all the answers, but Googling what types of questions to ask if I'm doing XYZ. And I put it in Google just how I want to ask it. You may have to do some research or some digging, but I always recommend for business owners, do some research, do some legwork on your stuff. Everything can't be surface level that you just, take everything worth a grain of salt. Fact check when people giving you information. Don't just take what they say, And if you watch this live back or you're catching it on the replay, #replay. But if you're watching this live, then fact check. Look this information up. Don't take everybody's word for it as law. And when I say fact check, I mean on reputable sites. Not just people talking in a forum. We got to do better. Jasmine, the month is ending. We gotta go live together. We got to do a live together. I don't know what we're gonna talk about, but we gotta do a live together. We'll have to get some content together and hop on. All right, ladies. Well, I am going to wrap it up for tonight. I will be back tomorrow for day 23 of 30 Days Live. I really enjoyed this topic, though. This is one of those areas that, and I'm sure you probably hear the difference in my voice. I get very passionate about this area. I get passionate about a lot of areas, but this is one of those areas that I get passionate about just because I've seen the backlash from people not doing it right, or people not understanding or knowing what comes with it, and then seeing the consequences of them not knowing. So I will holler at you, you ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow with another day of 30 Days Live. Have a good evening.